for those.
Oh. We're going to call the Economic Development Committee meeting to order. It's November 5th. It is 5:30. And members that are present are Charlie,
Here.
Bonnie,
Here.
Jenny,
Here.
John,
Here.
and Ron. Do I call you?
No, Ron's not a member. He's
He is here.
secretary. And then you say,
Here without,
Bino is here
Here.
and with,
Bino
he's
is-
excused, with excused.
With notice.
with
notice,
notice,
that's the word.
and also is Peter's
Peter's.
here,
Not here with notice.
or not here with
With
notice.
notice. Yeah. Good.
And we have townspeople here. We have Frank, John, Joe, and Pat Mazzoni.
Alan.
Alan's not here, but he is.
And Kathy.
And Kathleen. Dewar.
Kathleen. And now we have approval of the minutes.
And we have
Is everyone
two,
okay
we
with-
have two sets, the October 15th and our work session ones.
I'll move on the 15th. To approve?
In favor?
Yes.
And no, you need this.
Oh,
Motion.
You
You need a
and
motion,
second.
you need a motion, I'm sorry.
Somebody
Oh.
has to second it.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the minutes?
Jenny made the motion. Okay, John
Mo-
did it,
Approved.
and now,
Now the
Now we
other
voted on
set,
No, we got all.
Any- Any,
you're right.
discussion,
being I have none, call the vote.
All in favor?
all in favor of the minutes?
Aye.
Aye.
And any,
Minutes approved.
okay, you can say, any disagreement or, any opposed. usually.
Well, they all said aye, so I figured that there's no one opposed.
That works. Nobody-
And
So we'll move on to.
and then the meet,
So,
sorry, the
The minutes from the.
minutes from the work session, we have to, as well.
Do I have another set of minutes?
Okay, we need
a motion,
a motion to approve the minutes of
October 29th.
October 29th.
Make the motion.
Make the motion. I'll second the motion.
Bonnie makes the motion, Charlie seconds.
Any
All in-
discussion?
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Minutes approved.
Thank you.
Okay.
So we'll move on to our agenda, and the first thing on the agenda is a special guest. Brian Lash of Owl's Nest. Is he available?
He is on. Hi,
I'm
Brian.
here. Good
Hi, Brian.
afternoon.
Hello.
Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Wonderful. Thank you. Appreciate the opportunity to speak to you. This is my Ashland Town Week. I was with the Board of Selectmen on Monday night. I'm with you guys tonight, and I'm with the Planning Board tomorrow night. So thank you for making time for me. The reason for my appearance is first to thank you for welcoming me as part of the Ashland community. I am a New Hampshire resident, but my kids went to Waterville Valley Elementary School, and where I had 10% of the entire student body. We had 33 kids, and I had 3 boys in a school that had 33 kids for 9 grades. They all went to Waterville Academy and then to Holderness and back to Waterville Academy, but the whole family were New Hampshire residents. I've been the owner of Owl's Nest in Thornton and Campton since 2015, where I bought it out of bankruptcy and turned it from losing $2 million a year to making almost $5 million this year, which I'm proud of that, but I'm more proud of the 300 people I employ in Thornton and Campton, and the fact that Owl's Nest, that is myself and all my homeowners, we are almost half of the tax base in the town of Thornton, them collecting $8 million a year, and myself and my homeowners contributing almost $4 million. We also have been great neighbors and part of the fabric of the community. We give discounts to all the residents of Thornton and Campton off of all of our memberships except golf. So beach, pool, fitness, rackets, all of that. And further, there are discounts on food and beverage for residents. We're building a sports complex at the behest of local families who have to travel very far for their kids to compete on AstroTurf fields in the disciplines of lacrosse, field hockey, soccer, hockey. We're building that in the next year. We're going to break ground, and that's a not-for-profit asset for the community as well as an indoor pool. In Ashland specifically, to get to the point, I bought the White Mountain Country Club about 4 years ago and operated it for a year, and then implemented a significant investment to upgrade the course, the clubhouse, and the 4 townhouses that came with the purchase at an investment of nearly $7 million, redoing every green, every tee box, and every sand trap, all 4 townhouses gutted to the core, and the clubhouse and restaurant gutted to the studs. And I hope if you haven't been to the Pemmy Burger Bar yet, that you will come by, because I think it, along with my friend Alex Ray's place in downtown Ashland, it's the two best restaurants in our town. So with that said, I have applied for a New Hampshire charitable gaming license, which in the state of New Hampshire allows the operator to donate 35% of the net income to the casino to 501(c)(3)s, nonprofit charities in the area of our golf course and our casino, our designated casino. I have a list of charities that I've identified in the Holderness, Squam, and primarily the Ashland area that would benefit from these donations. And I can put that up on the screen in just a moment. But before I do, I wanted to explain that this casino hotel is vastly different as can be from the 11 casinos that currently exist in the state of New Hampshire. First, this will be the only casino owned and operated by a New Hampshire resident. That's me. Second, it's going to be the only casino with hotel rooms, the only casino that is encouraging overnight stays that will impact our community. Gas stations, merchants, supermarkets, barbershops. We're talking about an average length of stay of over 3 nights. People coming from all over the country to experience the White Mountains and the Lakes region, which Ashland is squarely in the middle of. Our town is 5 miles to Squam, 11 miles to Winnipesaukee, and 12 miles to Newfound. And the Lakes region of New Hampshire attracts 4.8 million visitors a year. Further, we're within 30 miles of 5 major ski resorts, namely Gunstock, Tenney, Loon, Cannon, and Waterville. And 6 million people visit the White Mountains every year, more than Yosemite, more than Yellowstone. A little unknown fact, but we're centered right in the middle of 10 million visitors a year in Ashland. This is going to attract people from all over the country to experience the White Mountains and the Lakes region, but to be able to stay in a 5-star casino destination resort hotel that has a theater, a concert hall, a conference center, a spa, a pool, amenities, beautiful rooms. So I'm going to hold up for a moment. I don't know if you can see this. So these drawings are based a little bit on Owl's Nest and Thornton Campton. the same ethos, the modern mountain look, the Douglas fir beams and the,
Can you put a little light on those, Brian? They're kind of dark.
oh, I'm sorry. You know what? I can probably, if you share the screen with me, let's see, I can, let's see, I'm not really good with tech. So somebody's gonna have to walk me through this, but I have it on a, electronically. Uh, let's see. Um, if, hmm,
And maybe we could, at some point, if we could get paper copies of those, or because we
yeah,
have a lot of very, very nice presentation panels, and it would be helpful if we could.
Well, where, do you know where you can find the screen sharing for
I already turned it on, so
them? Okay.
okay, so,
he's gotta open it up in his computer first, and then he can go to screen share and then
Okay.
select it and then share.
All right, yeah, so let's guide them too, because I'd like to see the pictures that were done well.
okay, so let's see, how do I go to screen sharing?
Go
I
on
see
the-
along the bottom, I've got more, record docs, notes, whiteboard, no.
There'd be a green button that says share.
Oh, share, you're right. There it
Yep,
is.
so you click
Okay.
on that, and then it'll open up whatever you have open on your computer.
Wonderful.
There
Okay,
you
can you see that?
go.
Okay. I can,
Nope,
see-
there it is.
You got
Yep.
it.
Perfect.
all right, great. So, under current law, charities receive 35% of the revenue. So down below, are intended charities that we would share our contribution, 35% of our net revenue. Everyone on this call is from Ashland. You know all of these organizations. There's one on that didn't make the list, but I saw it in person. Michelle Roloff took me there. It's the Town Beach. It's not part of any of these organizations, but what a wonderful charity to contribute to for swimming lessons and lifeguards and all that. But down below, you'll see what every casino in New Hampshire is contributing under under charity revenue. The largest casinos in New Hampshire in January and February gave over $500,000, some as many as 700,000 and 800,000 in January and February to 501(c)(3)s to charities. We will not be doing that type of revenue. We're not that type of casino. We're not huddled next to the Massachusetts border looking for day visitors and bus traffic. We're doing overnight customers. We'll probably be more like half of that revenue. So maybe 200,000 or 300,000 a month would go to charities that are listed above. I don't want to mislead you and show you these big numbers and tell you that we're going to do the type of revenue that the Brook at the very bottom, which is in Seabrook, or the Gates City Casino, which is in Salem. You know, these are basically Massachusetts, Boston suburbs, right? So we do have huge amount of traffic coming to our region, but we're not going to be that kind of casino. And we don't want to be. We want people to stay and love Ashland, the White Mountains, and the Lakes region. So that's the first slide I wanted to show you. The next one is going to be, let me just go and pull it up. Bear with me. Again, you guys know already, I'm really bad with tech. So, where'd it go? Oh, there we are. Okay. The next one. This is are you seeing this? Yeah, you are. Great.
Yep.
So if you've been to Owl's Nest, you see this same mountain modern look. We're not sure if our casino will go east-west or north-south. There's two renditions there. but we're talking about something we can all be proud of. A casino destination resort hotel that embraces the White Mountains and the Lakes region, but also has a modern feel. And this will be about 100 rooms. This is going to take 300 to 500 people to build over 2 to 3 years. And it'll, more importantly, will employ 300 to 500 people full-time and part-time for its longevity of its life. And obviously, all advantages will be given to local Ashland community members to be both part of the construction team and to be part of the hospitality team once we open. Okay, let's go to the next slide. If I can find it. Okay, here is a very important part of what we're intending to build. So we're going to build a theater that will have at least 500 seats. That makes it 50% larger than the Flying Monkey, which I'm a big fan of. I told you Alex Ray is a friend of mine. But it's just not big enough. Not big enough to do what we want to do. We want to bring in, world-renowned artists, whether they're comedians or musicians, or for conferences. We're going to put in the largest conference center in the state of New Hampshire. The largest conference center today is 14,000 square feet. We intend to build a conference center that's 20,000 square feet. So we'll have the ability to handle conferences that even the Omni Mount Washington can't handle, or the largest hotel in the state for conference centers is in Manchester. It's part of the DoubleTree. But conference center and theater will keep us thriving in the very dark months of April and November, the only 2 months where the Lakes region and the White Mountains ski areas can't impact tourism, but conference center and theater can. Let's go to the next one. Here's a example of what our lobby and restaurant might look like. Again, something that everyone in Ashland can be proud of and be part of. We'll have several restaurants in the casino hotel. Again, embracing that mountain modern ethos with the Douglas fir timbers that you see throughout Owl's Nest if you've been. Here's an example of what our rooms might look like. So we'll have a selection of rooms and suites. If any of you have ever been to a casino hotel, the beauty of them is that you don't have to charge a lot for your rooms because you make your money from food, beverage, and gambling and attending shows and so forth. So you can stay at a 5-star hotel in Las Vegas for $200 a night if you catch it at the right time of year. The Inn at Winnisquam, or the Lake Estate at Winnisquam, I toured it recently with the owner. It's absolutely lovely. They're going to be charging $1,000 a night from Memorial Day to Labor Day. That's not me. That's not this. That's not Owl's Nest. We're going to be affordable. We're going to be affordable whether you're blue collar or white collar, whether you're working on you're on a pension or you're on Social Security. The name of the game with destination resort hotel casinos is making it affordable so people can come and have fun. And we're not going to skimp on the quality, but we're going to be able to offer rooms at a really low price because there are other profit silos within a facility like this where we're going to be able to be profitable without scaring away customers that haven't been to the region and think they can't afford to go to a 5-star destination resort hotel casino. Well, they'll be able to do it here. And finally, here's an example of our, I showed this already, our lobby and restaurant, our function, our rooms.
The gaming?
I think Oh, this is the same, the
Oh,
first.
that's the first one. Yeah.
So,
Yep.
I think we've gone full circle on the slides.
Just
But,
stop sharing.
you know, look, it all starts with you and the planning and selectmen, the boards. If we don't get embraced by the town of Ashland, it's all bets are off. The state has told me, Brian, everything you're talking about is everything we dreamed about when we started approving casino gambling. You're a New Hampshire resident, you want to build a destination hotel, you want to increase tourism, you want to employ hundreds of people in an area that needs the employment, but you have to get the blessing, the hearts and minds of Ashland have to support you. And when they support you and you tell us who your gaming partner is, we're going to give you the license with a pat on the back. But if I'm told from your board at the planning and the selectmen, we don't want you in Ashland, this project's going to go away. I'm not bringing it to Thornton and Campton. It doesn't belong there. It doesn't have the geography that we need because we're tapping the Lakes region and the White Mountain tourism. It, the employment and the contribution to the tax base is much more needed and much more, I think, appropriate in Ashland. And if it's not Ashland, it's not going to happen. I'm not going to play games and say, if you don't approve it, I'm going to Thornton. I'm not. But I've been a great custodian up in Thornton and Campton, and I will be here in Ashland. So open to any questions you may have.
Brian, I understand you have an immediate obstacle with the location in Ashland. Can you describe that a little bit?
Well, I did have an obstacle, but I've solved it. So many of you know I bought the 8.8 acre parcel directly east of the clubhouse. I thought that was going to be the location for the casino, but it is not. There's not enough flat land there. It's really, I bought it for two reasons. One, to expand my parking lot, and two, because of its frontage on Interstate 93, where I'm legally empowered to put up a billboard. As you know, billboards are not allowed on Interstate 93 unless you're a landowner that's adjacent to Interstate 93. And fortunately, I'm legally entitled to a 750 square foot billboard on my land facing Interstate 93, which, as long as we're talking about stats, 6 million people to the White Mountains, 4.8 million to the Lakes region. You won't believe it, but 42 million cars travel on Interstate 93 every year. 116,000 people on average per day. So the land will be put to good use, but what I'm going to do is turn the driving range into hole number one and take over hole number one and most of hole number two for the parking and the casino hotel and the amenities. It gives me 14 acres and also gives me, most important, high ground, because where my maintenance building is today is the highest ground at the Owl's Nest Vineyard course. It's the only ground that is not in a floodway and not in a flood zone. And so I've got plenty of room for the footprint of the casino destination resort hotel. The parking lots will be in a floodway, but that's fine because the flood will come, the flood will leave, and we might lose a day of gambling until the water recedes, but that's the intent. It's kind of crazy that I just spent $5 million renovating the golf course, not to mention $1 million on the clubhouse and $1 million on the townhouses, but now I'm going to renovate it again. But it's really not that big of a investment to create hole number one out of the driving range and move the tee box and the green for hole number two. You know, it's minor compared to the budget for this project is $60 million, which will bring over $1 million a year in taxes to the town of Ashland. Again, 300 to 400 full-time and part-time employees once it's built, 300 to 400 employees while it's being built, but 1 million to 1.2 million a year after it's built. That's what it's gonna assess at, basically what we're putting in. So, yes, going full circle, it is gonna go on the first fairway and where my maintenance building is now. And my maintenance building will be relocated over by the hangar, which formerly was used for the runway, which is formerly in operation before I put in the vineyard.
What about the current zoning? Does that accommodate what you're trying to do?
No, actually, very good question. It does not. And that's why we
That's,
met with the Board of Selectmen on Monday, and we're gonna meet with the planning board tomorrow night. Not only do we need the support of the town, we need a zoning change. I'm zoned for recreation. We need to change the zoning to
Zone commercial.
I guess, right?
Well, you are, the golf course is commercial
Oh, that's good news.
and hotels are allowed as a use in the commercial zone.
Even better. That's
yeah.
great news.
Yeah.
So currently the area that is being
Well,
developed.
if you stop share, I'll share a picture. And then I can show the land use plan ordinance.
Okay, how do I
Yeah.
stop share?
If you just move
Oh,
the
stop
cursor.
share. I got it. Yeah, thank you. Sorry.
Okay. Now, I should have it queued up here. Whoops.
So he would not need a variance.
Already running a restaurant.
What?
Already running a restaurant.
Yeah, so if you can see my cursor, this is where you're gonna put it, right? Where I'm moving my cursor.
Exactly. Those trees will come down. That's high ground. We need that. Yep.
So your property card, if I scroll down, you are zoned property class commercial. Okay, so now stop share. I'm gonna share the land use plan ordinance. I thought I had that.
You showed it to me.
Oh, I gotta go back to this. All right, I got so many tabs open.
Sleeping your house.
Oh, shoot, now I can't see. Zoning ordinance. So the current zoning ordinance under zoning regulations, commercial. What is allowed is store shops, office banks, theaters, halls, clubs, lodging facilities, hotels, motels, and restaurants, residential uses including apartments, accessory uses, personal storage units, communication towers.
Would a
So-
casino be different from any of those?
That's an accessory use of the building, I
So
believe,
that's-
but it's a planning board thing
Yeah.
to review.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not on the planning board.
But the zoning accommodates him.
It looks like.
It looks like it does,
Yeah,
but
it
that's a planning board.
Yeah,
decision.
yeah,
Mhm.
of course.
Where you may have a challenge is the parking on the lot you bought. Expanding that area, but whatever, that's a planning board thing to work out. I think, but you'll get the skinny tomorrow at the planning board.
Well, that's great news. Some of you met Phil Hastings last night. Phil thought we needed a zoning change, but if we don't, all the better. What we do need again, though, is the support of the town, because admittedly, a casino is a controversial topic. It's again as different from the 11 casinos that exist today in New Hampshire as you can get. It's like, I don't know what the analogy is, but I think you guys get it. This is bringing people to come and stay. To come and
Stay and
enjoy, not come in, throw down a couple of hands of blackjack and go home happy or sad. Right?
You wanna open it up for any questions to the public here?
Yeah.
Well, if-
Does anyone have any questions for Brian? Kathleen? Alan?
Alan?
Kathleen?
Do you have any questions?
Do you have any questions for
For Brian.
Brian? Not at this point. Anyone?
I just had a
Bonnie?
question if nobody else does. What was the time frame again that you're shooting for, Brian?
Well, in an ideal world, I'll have town approval and state approval in the next 6 months. And I'll be able to name my gaming partner to the state in that time, and I'd like to break ground a year from now. And it's a 2-year build. So again, in a perfect world, we'd be opening in fall of fall of 28.
Nice. Thanks.
Sounds good, Brian. And it sounds very exciting and very interesting, I would say.
Thank.
I see a lot of head shaking.
I like
Positive.
it.
Oh,
I'm all in.
Who said
how
that?
about for Pat Mazzoni?
All right, Brian, you got one. You got just a few more to go.
All right.
Starts first
I'm
step.
recording this, so
We have Frank has a question.
Yeah, I just, I was at the BOS meeting, we did talk about, infrastructure, and that'll probably be looked at by the planning board and all as far as, electric and, we probably have to deal with North Ashland. Are you, from your studies, are you okay on the exits and things like that that are off the interstate? It looks like that probably be adequate to handle traffic and stuff.
I'm not sure if the question is directed at me, but I did hear access. And so another wonderful thing about Ashland, Ashland has 2 exits. If you're coming from the north, it's exit 25. If you're coming from the south, it's exit 24. And guess what is almost directly in the middle of 24 and 25 is the Owl's Nest Vineyard Course and Cold Spring Resort. We're 2.2 miles from exit 25 and 2.4 miles from exit 24. So, would it be great to be right at the exit? No, not really, because we're the White Mountain Casino. We want people to get off the exit, drive through North Ashland Road, see all the beautiful woods and all the mountains, and come to our destination resort. I kind of like that we're not right on the highway. I'm grateful that I have property on the highway where I can promote where we are, but I think it's not the kind of casino that's going to get like 1,000 visitors a day. It's not like the Nash that you've read about in Nashua or the Brook in Seabrook. They're volume casinos. They rely on thousands of people a day coming in and out, in and out, in and out, parking, driving, staying for 2, 3. They're hoping to keep them there 2, 3 hours. I'm hoping to keep people there 3, 5, 7 days. Completely different business model. So I think, somebody mentioned at the meeting the other night, what about the traffic on North Ashland? Not going to be like anything anyone's ever seen at a casino in New Hampshire, because people be coming to check in. They'll be trying to get early check-ins, though some people will be arriving at 4, which is normal check-in time. Yeah, we'll have day visitors. We're not turning them away. But I think North Ashland Road will handle the traffic just fine. I have to create some curb cuts, into the first fairway and so forth. I don't see a problem with that. I've got a good relationship with DOT and a growing relationship with Ashland. But no, I think our location's perfect.
I agree with you. Coming in is lovely through the whole tree area.
Yeah.
And what casino has a lovely golf course?
Well, I wish I thought of this 3 years ago. I have my license in hand. I probably would have broken ground already, but it's funny how it all came together. But you're right. I was looking at ways to make my golf course more successful and the Pemmy Burger Bar more successful. And there it was right in front of me. I couldn't even see it. And then I'm in a meeting in Concord and it comes up and I'm like, oh, I was such an idiot. Of course, this is I solved Rubik's Cube. Not that we didn't have a great first season, we did. We did almost as many rounds at at 40% higher, because I invested millions of dollars. We raised the rates from $69 to $99 on weekends, and we did almost 20,000 rounds, opening like in the third week of June. So I lost 6 weeks because I had to grow in. I mean, people have really embraced it. If you go online, you see the reviews of not just the golf course, but the restaurant. I mean, people are talking about Ashland in part because, I've made this great investment in this great underperforming asset. This is step one. The casino will be step two. I think what I've done in Thornton and Campton is, you know, admittedly we're a little wedding centric and golf centric. But if you ask anyone in Massachusetts, do you know where Ellsness is? They go, oh yeah, that's at exit 28. It's got that great golf course. Or, oh yeah, my niece got married there. It was fabulous. That's not so bad. Maybe someday they'll be saying, you know where Ashland is? Oh yeah, that's where the White Mountain Casino is. It's beautiful there. And I want to
And
go
the
back.
beautiful golf course with the vineyard.
Right, right.
I
exactly.
took the clinic there. I never have been, and I took the clinic there this summer, and it was really nice. I was just amazed.
Yeah, it had great bones. I was very lucky that Phil Friel was a good custodian. I mean, he didn't, he didn't reinvest a lot in the course, but it had great bones. Just like Owl's Nest when I bought it. Great bones. It just needed some tender, loving care. And I'm proud to be the guy that was able to do that. And yeah, our reviews are unbelievable. Next year is going to be it's gonna be off the hook. We're keeping the restaurant open all winter too. We're gonna give it a shot. That never was the intention, but the response and support of the community has been so good that we think hopefully we can break even this winter. I think we're gonna be open 4 or 5 nights a week. So we'll see how that goes. As long as people support us, we'll stay open. I don't need to make money in the winter. I just want to be an asset to the community and keep my people employed.
Well,
Right.
thank you, Brian.
I have one
Oh,
more
Bonnie has
question.
a question.
Up at Owl's Nest in Thornton, I haven't played golf there, but I've cross-country skied there. Is there any plans for winter sports in Ashland, anything like that at this point?
We absolutely encourage people to cross-country ski on our golf course. We're not going to double track it. So we don't have the equipment, but people can come and use the course. We let snowmobilers use our course in Thornton because we're right on corridor 11. So we're definitely in support of that. There's no need to even register or whatever. Just I'll get you more details on that. But yeah, our facilities are open to anyone that wants cross country or snowshoe.
Frank has a question.
Yeah, the Cold Springs Resort, Brian, does track the course in the winter. They have an agreement. I guess they can do that. So they do nice trails. We use them all the time. You can do easily 4-mile loops around there.
Well, we have a very close relationship with them. We give them a lot of groups, our stay and play groups, and then we must have an agreement that they're putting tracks on our course. So that's great to hear.
Yeah, so you already have started that winter activities and could actually expand it, I think.
And the
Oh,
snowmobile,
That's
yeah,
great.
the snowmobile trails also go through there at some point. I'm not exactly sure where, but they're over there. So,
Well, they're over by, past the, where the old hangar is, across, the little, part of the Pemmy that goes along the first hole. Go across there, that's where all the snowmobiles are. So it keeps it separate from the cross-country people not having to dodge them.
It's conservation land now.
Conservation land, yeah. So it's a nice setup. but nobody knows about it.
So local, so it's local use.
Yeah.
You might wanna change that, but okay. It's very nice facilities over there that gets used by the people, the local people. So that's good.
Any other questions? for Brian? Thoughts,
Not at this point.
approvals?
Well, this sounds very exciting.
I'm so glad to hear that. As I said, it all starts with us in Ashland. We can't get to the finish line without the support. So, tomorrow night I'll be up. I'm driving up tomorrow afternoon to meet with the planning board. And then apparently it's gonna go to some kind of vote or something. I don't know how these things work, but,
No, there's no zoning changes, the planning board
It-
probably
it-
can.
We'll
Yeah.
figure that out, yeah.
Yeah, the planning board will guide you tomorrow, you know, during your conceptual.
great, great. Well, thank you, everybody. If you have no further questions, I'll let you get back to your agenda, and thank you for listening and your support.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian.
All right, good night, everybody.
Hey.
Night. Lots of
Wow,
practical
that was
information.
impressive.
Wow,
There's a good project.
That
You
was-
think?
I like it.
I wish
Yeah.
Peter was here to hear it.
I'm sorry?
I wish Peter
Well,
was
he
here
can,
to
he
hear
can
it.
watch the tape tomorrow.
Wants to take this.
Isn't he in
I-
Italy?
No, I think he says Chicago.
Yeah, but he can log on.
Oh.
He can log on, see it.
I really appreciate that we were able to hear this,
Hmm.
that
But-
this was set up.
Well, I thought it was important that, you know, he brought to the selectmen that it should come before the Economic Development Committee, because that's kind of what you're charged with helping with the town, so.
And promoting,
It's a good idea.
promotion.
So thank you for.
Yeah, for
Good idea.
facilitating that.
stuff.
Huh.
Well, okay, moving
Now,
forward.
now you gotta top that.
Oh, wait. Let me take a breath. Can we take a breath?
So, the next thing on the agenda is follow-up on submitting the RFP to the BOS, and if everybody knows what all those things mean.
Yes.
Request for proposals to the Board of Selectmen.
And Bonnie, I think you're in charge.
Well, who needs a copy of the final RFP to
I
peek
do.
at? And sorry about my printing, it's horrible.
Thank you.
You have one?
Okay.
Look at them.
Got an extra one?
Okay,
Good.
Yeah, sure.
yeah,
You have a couple more?
Good, thank you.
I have, 3 more.
So do we go to discussion on this? Is that the next thing?
We
Yeah.
made the changes that we talked about at our work session.
Yes.
Charlie reviewed it to have another set of eyes on those changes. In the table, we added some actual numbers that Craig had given me for 2025. And that felt a little better, a little more concrete.
Yep.
And then the other ones, the estimated ones are still in that 3% increase over 2024 for tonnages. In the back, you'll see some definitions.
Yes.
Which, you know, just basically the terms of that we use in the industry. We kept it at, you know, municipal solid waste, what is construction debris, what are fibers? Non-ferrous metals right now is an income for the transfer station, you know, wire, copper, that wonderful stuff. And then, of course, the recyclables that are outlined in table 1. I think we didn't say when it was gonna be due, but that would be up to the board.
Select board. Yeah, there'll be another review of this at the select board. Obviously, what we're here to do is to forward this with a recommendation to the select board, and they'll take it up from there.
Do I hear a motion?
No, I got,
I got one quick question.
Oh, I'm sorry, discussion.
Okay, this is more like a housekeeping thing.
Oh, sure.
We have the physical address in Highland Street. Do we want to put an email address in there?
That was one of my questions, actually.
Good
Good question.
Because if we're accepting emailed proposals,
Mm.
they're gonna have to know where to send them to.
Well,
Is
that's
this a
that's a
seal?
good question.
Is
for
this
the
sealed
town
or no?
manager.
That's the,
No,
Or a seal?
No,
Okay,
no.
all right.
so it's a question for the town manager. How would the town manager like to be communicated with?
They can send it to me, I guess.
it just says must be received, so we haven't, when we've been, like you said, the address, so they can mail it. But being on the other end of this, I want an email. And I would send an email and do a return receipt, so that shows at such and such a time it was
Right.
accepted by the
Yeah,
town.
they could opt to do both. They could send paper copy in an electronic version. You know, via email or whatever.
So,
Maybe,
Does this go to the Board of Selectmen ahead of time so they can read through this?
Yeah.
they have to
Oh, yeah.
approve it.
I have to
Yeah.
approve it and
yeah,
And they're gonna have questions.
yeah, so in section D, you might wanna add,
Yeah.
on page 2. You might wanna.
Do we want it there, or do we want it
Under
where the
proposal.
proposal requirements and the format?
That's where the
Tried to
physical
bring it
address
all
is.
under that.
But there's a nice little blurb here, municipal contact, where we say, contact the town manager, and what we fail to say there is how,
Oh, yeah,
Yep, true.
okay?
yeah,
So,
you put his email. phone
Yeah,
You
number.
might wanna put it,
do it all by email.
Email.
That way it's documented.
Yeah.
might wanna put it on both places then.
Yeah,
It could, it wouldn't hurt,
Yeah.
but, you know, yes, certainly in section D, because that's really what that directs itself to.
And then add an email here. Okay. Thank you, John.
Yeah, please point it down.
okay, I'm gonna pass something out just for discussion. And you guys can decide if you want. It's just, when I went through it, you did a very nice job. Thank you, did a very nice job. Proposal format, section D, there's these parts that were taken out.
These are the parts that were taken out.
Right, I've got the ones checked off that are there, and the ones that I think that are needed. And the reason I say that, the proposal format is we're telling the vendor how we want them to give us the proposal. And if we are, say we're successful in getting several vendors to submit proposals. If we don't tell them how they want it, they're all gonna give it to us in a different way, and it makes our job harder to figure out what you're proposing and compare one to the other. If we lay out for them what we want and how we want it, in what order, then the proposals from the different vendors are more consistent with each other, and it makes our job easier to look at them, to review them. So that's the only reason so this is really for us.
For the technical review board.
What, so it's like proposal format. We've got on there, right now, it says cover letter, project scope, that's there. But then we don't have, proposers profile, process and description, project costs as detailed, but project costs of the town, which is important there, because we do have on there no cost or minimal cost, but if there are some costs to the town, we want a place for them to put it. So this is just my suggestion, that we put this stuff back in, because it would make our job easier as we're reviewing them.
Gosh, did we miss something in the whole?
No, well, it was taken out. It was in the original one from Frank's, he did. And then those aren't there.
Yeah, and the reason they're not there is that because of the type of requests that we're making in this RFP, specifically the fact that we're asking for a zero cost proposal. So things like, project cost as detailed in section 2 really don't have any meaning.
Well,
in
no,
this context.
there is something in there, where is, in the RFP, it does have a place where if there are costs to us,
Yes, they need to disclose them.
so that way.
That's sufficient, I think.
So, but that's where all of this stuff is in one place. It just makes the proposals more consistent, and it makes it easier for us, so we don't have to go dig, it's right there. And I would just recommend that we do something like that.
Frank has the floor.
Yeah, I would agree. That's why I put that in there. To make it, you wanna look at it from the perspective of for what you're getting in and to be able to compare what you get from everybody else. It's not gonna be a potential single source here. And that makes it a lot easier. If you try to structure it, if you don't, then you're trying to spend time sorting out what this one said, what that one said, and there's a lot of back and forth.
So this saves us time.
Right.
So apples to apples.
Yeah, well, it's not gonna, it's a proposal, so it's not gonna be apples to apples, but they're closer. And so, it's just, I really strongly recommend that we just add that in. So we're not changing specs or anything as far as what we're looking for them to do, it's just how they're presenting it to us.
Bonnie?
I don't know.
I mean, I don't have any big objection, the optional one, proposed project team, I think that's not.
Right, that's why I
That'd be in
didn't
the
think, I
next, that'd
didn't
be
think
in the
that.
next phase.
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah, I didn't think that,
That-
that's why I said
yeah.
I wasn't worried about that one. We have terms and conditions, we have the first two, it's just,
Process and facility description, I mean, that's redundant, I think, that's the only reason that came out. I mean, obviously, that's what we're asking for, including the diagrams and whatnot, so I think that was just redundant. But I mean, I don't have a problem with it, but.
I can see what Jenny's saying, though. You have it all in one.
all in one place and it's structured,
Yeah.
Even if it's been mentioned someplace else.
yeah,
It's not gonna be Da Vinci's code when you receive it.
right.
Seen those.
Yeah, same, six is redundant, that's the reason it's not there. So,
This is
you know,
more for the review board than anybody else.
This is for the review board, yeah.
Yeah, so anything to make their job easier is, they would probably appreciate.
Yeah.
yeah, I just, some of these, I just don't know how it changes anything, we're expecting those things to be done.
But they can be buried in this way, it's just.
This is how we want.
But even though we put it in this, we list it here, that doesn't mean they're gonna respond in that order, you know?
We can tell them they have
We
to,
hope that they-
yeah,
Yeah,
that's what we want,
No, I don't think so.
If we tell them this is the way that they have to do it,
so good.
they have to do it that way,
That's the way
or
they do it.
Be the
it's
response.
invalid.
Yeah, but I'd like to leave it open-ended so people can respond in a way that's comfortable for the type of project that they're going to be recommending. Yeah, it's the opposite approach. The more you structure this, the more you thwart their creative effort. Because this is going to be, whoever responds is going to put some creative thought to this. And that's what we're interested in. But I don't wanna stifle that creative thought by, boxing them in entirely. Let them express how this has to unfold and what their best description of it is. So I mean, there's nothing wrong with this, except that I just didn't think it was necessary to ask it twice, and I didn't wanna overstructure it. So, I mean, that's
Frank
why.
has
I
the
done that.
floor.
Yeah, I don't see, you asking for other ideas in the proposal. I don't think this is boxing in, this is trying to make it so you can compare what they have. Somebody adds something different, you'll be able to see that.
But
Because you don't wanna be trying to sort out somebody that gives you a bunch of words when you really are looking at specific information to compare.
no, well, see, that's where I would just argue that point. When somebody is reacting creatively, it's going to flow the way that they envision the process. And we're asking for the information, so there's no discussion here about, whether or not we get the information, we gotta get the information. But it's the format of it. See, I want these people to feel like it's open-ended and that they can respond however is most comfortable, as long as they answer the question. And that's, cause I think that's this type of RFP. If this was a very technical and, there was an existing process that we were specifically asking for, if we were doing a landfill or an incineration type of project, then I think that's very straightforward. Yeah, and here's how much we'll pay you. But because we're asking for no payment, somebody is going to have to really think this through to respond. How do we engage with the Ashland town, process their waste at no charge to them and maintain economic validity to the process so that they can recover whatever investment is involved. So I'd ask you to appreciate that is a very pressing thing to ask a vendor for. We need your help, but we're not gonna pay you. And so tell us how you wanna do it.
You've already received from, a proposal from the vendor that you've been pitching.
We have not.
Not a
you have.
formal.
I have not.
Read what you handed me a couple months ago. It says, our proposal is this. That proposal is not really what you're asking for. You're asking for something a little more specific than that.
That proposal,
You're not
that
cutting-
was a paid proposal. Okay, that is not the current status of this, frankly, okay? They wanted to be
It's
paid.
changed
Okay,
again.
one
You've
person at a
changed it.
time.
We're having a dialogue.
You've changed it quite frequently, but that proposal is all words. There's nothing, it's pretty significant, actually. to
That
read.
proposal was dismissed by
Well, it hasn't been dismissed yet, because you may get it back again. Now, the thing is, this is not stifling creativity anyway. You can put whatever you want. Have you ever been involved in RFP processes? People will do that. They'll come back and they'll say, okay, I'm giving you this, but I'm gonna propose this. They can do that.
Mhm.
There's nothing saying you can't.
So then what's the point of trying to structure it, okay? You're talking yourself out of your own argument. I mean, let
Everybody-
them respond the way they wanna respond. That's the whole point
You're
here.
not listening to what Jenny is saying. It's to have it consistent. Have you ever got proposals? Have you, let me. ask
Frank,
you,
I spent my life doing this,
So did
okay?
I.
All right, so therefore,
Excuse
They're
me,
here. Let me finish.
yeah.
That
wait, I think
if you-
we've
if
got,
you structure.
Frank, I think we've talked this through.
Yeah, you got it.
We know what we've got here, and do we need to take a
Take a
vote
vote.
on this?
Yes.
One more question.
Uh,
It doesn't mention where it'll be. Does it? Or did I miss something?
And we're
Yeah,
not
but because-
specifying where it will be.
Well,
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 I wanna know that it won't be on that 36 acres.
it does.
That's for them to tell us.
It
No, no,
does,
that's-
it does say.
No,
It does.
Oh, no.
that's for us to tell them.
It says we have
What we want.
approximate, it's right there
Yeah.
beside
Yeah.
it.
Oh, yeah, okay, I'm
It
sorry,
does
sorry, you're
it
right.
does
We did
Yeah.
specify the transfer station.
And project purpose,
We say
the
that
third,
The transfer station is there, but we don't say that this plant is gonna be there.
It's 2 acres. That's what the town has to offer.
Does it say it?
One
What?
person at a time, please.
Do you
Kathleen?
have a certified survey of what's available? Have you read any of the easements from New Hampshire DOT or Eversource? And I'm directing this to the acting chair. Have you researched any of that?
Doesn't say it.
We'll have
You
to,
might only have one
Kathleen?
quarter acres.
we'll have to ask Bonnie. She's the one that would answer that.
You have to know what you're offering. You can't just guess.
Hmm.
And there could be deeded language from the interstate, one abutter. You have a spur line, electric spur line, and Eversource has an easement, which they now have added parcels to expand it. So it appears Eversource is moving towards expanding their access through the main line to the substation. So
yeah,
so there could be
that's beyond my
language,
scope.
there could be language within Eversource in the town of Ashland, what can be built within their fall line. For example, on the Avery well field, the town indemnified Eversource from any damages if any of those towers fell on our pump station. If they fell on the pump station, damaged it, it's town of Ashland's problem, not Eversource. As language, was that language follow the whole line all the way to the substation that needs to be looked into.
I think at this point,
You
that's
have to know what is,
Kathleen,
what's available.
I,
If you don't have it,
I don't know. I think that's beyond what we're at,
That's
what
right.
we're working on right now.
how can you elicit,
Thank goodness.
how can you elicit a bid and you don't know where it can be and what's available?
This is just,
We,
Jenny,
Okay, I will say. Yes, there is more information that is needed and, And we have in here where we think it would go if we were to do this. But for us to get a final of where it would go, we would need to know what the vendor needed for space and what type of facility they would build. And so I would envision, once we got a proposal that we thought was the one that we wanted, we would look at that. That's where there is layout requirements and stuff. Then we would have to go look at this, and then we'd have to go through that whole process of verifying whether it can be put there, getting
And
permits or
permits and-
whatever.
There are also permits involved.
Right.
This has
So-
an extensive research, so
So-
we have not even begun
So
to
we would-
peel back the
Wait,
onion.
Jenny.
We would have to get that information from the vendor that we think if we decide we think we have a vendor and
Why do
a
you have
proposal.
2 acres? This,
There's information of where we envision going to put it, but that's
Depends-
all,
depends on
something
their
has to be worked out.
That's right. And that's why the whole thing, you know, it's important that we leave this open-ended at this point. Cause we will hopefully we'll have multiple vendors who have ideas on how best to make this, you know, occur. And from those guidelines, what that vendor proposes, then we will be in the position of saying, oh, well, okay, we better now check what's available and whether what you're proposing is even possible, and not us. I want the vendor to worry about that.
no, that's, no,
No.
it is our property, it's our
Yeah,
responsibility.
but the vendor's going to have access to it.
The.
I
Yes.
just wanna say that the RFP is very different from a bid, like, they're
Right.
giving us a proposal of an idea,
That's right.
which is very different from the concrete of you're bidding this much to do the job, right?
Right.
Correct.
That's-
Okay.
That's exactly where we are, so we don't wanna be ahead of ourselves, right?
I guess I'm just wondering, is that the difference maybe?
Okay, we're gonna take one more question from the floor, and then we're gonna move forward with this. Yes, right.
Well, where it'll come up though, it may not be getting into the details of what's being discussed, but, if you're asking for a site plan, they're gonna probably wanna see it. They're gonna wanna know how big it is and how they could give you something that'll work. So that's gonna probably be in the discussions,
I hope so.
you know.
I hope so, Frank.
Well,
Yeah.
but that's not the part of this.
Well, we do ask for a site plan, but I looked at that as, that's them showing us what they could potentially lay out, but then they're gonna have to come on site and we're gonna have to look at it and figure out, and maybe it's not gonna be there, maybe it could be, or something, so. But yes, and this is an RFP, it's a request for proposal, so we could get 5 proposals that are 5 totally different things, solutions.
And that's what we're hoping for.
Right, that we could end up with that.
So shall we move ahead with approving this?
I'd like,
First
I
of all,
would,
the consideration of Jenny's,
Changes.
submission. Let's see where this goes.
Should we
Jenny,
take a vote just on that
yes,
part?
we need a motion. Jenny, you wanna make the motion to include it, or?
I'd like to make a motion to include the changes on proposal format that I have presented. Or to put these on, this was on, Frank's original and some of it was taken off, and I'd like to put what I've listed where I say needs to put it back.
So not including the optional.
Not including the optional, cross the optional off.
I second it.
The
Okay.
optional,
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
okay.
Number 8,
See,
is
wait.
optional.
Yeah, I said
they're
need,
proposed.
need, and
Okay.
Yeah, cross that out.
yeah. Yeah.
Alright, and it's okay that we just up in the one proposal requirements, we say proposed
would just-
design to complete the
right.
project.
Right, I would just
we-
add that. Where we've got like 1, 2, 3, we got 3 things, and we just add these
Need.
need back.
And the executive summary is in this one, the proposed format here is cover letters, does it matter?
Yeah, no, I think that's fine, that's close enough, yeah, it's fine.
Discussion.
Any more discussion?
Yeah, just submit that there's nothing wrong with this, as Jenny has outlined it. But I would maintain that it's redundant and I think it makes the proposal less clear in terms of how we're asking someone to respond. So, you know, I don't, you know, have a technical objection to it because it's all good points, but they're in there, it's redundant. I think it just makes this thing more complicated than it has to be.
Any more discussion?
In my experience in reviewing RFPs, we always had a page like this that listed out how the proposals were to come in, and it made our job, those who were reviewing the proposals, much, much easier. So it's really for us.
Should we take a vote? All in,
No, do a roll call vote on this.
okay. Charlie,
Charlie says no.
Bonnie,
Since we're gonna be helping the selectmen on the other end of looking apples to apples, I think we do need some clarification. So yes.
Jenny,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Jana, yes.
Thank you. I think we'll be happy.
I will take care of.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, so we could take a breath and move on.
Are we still on RFP? Because we haven't
Yes, we're on.
talked about
We have to.
where,
Oh, excuse me.
okay, we need to vote on the whole body of it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
and
And
then
then
I have
she
something.
puts those changes in. and we-
So
we
do
want-
I hear a motion to vote on this RFP with the amendment to move forward to the Board of Selectmen?
I make a motion.
John makes the,
Who seconds it? What?
We need a second.
Oh, I'll second.
okay, now,
Well, let's be clear with the motion, right? We're making a motion to forward this to the Board
Board
of
of
Selectmen
Selectmen,
with a recommendation that it be posted and made public
Right, with the change.
with the
Yes.
changes that Jenny asked for.
Yes.
Any more discussion?
any more discussion?
Well, if I may, I still don't have anything that says that these plants work. So what do we do about that?
I don't know, Joe. At this
That's gonna
point,
be the onus is gonna be back on them to provide us with data, with proof, with places that are either looking at this or are running these. So
Okay.
it really, we're putting it on them to sell it to us so that we can explain it to the townspeople what we're looking for.
Okay.
And if they can't, then we don't.
I haven't found one yet. So it'd be interesting.
But we do ask for them for,
Proof
yes.
and a place to look at. Okay.
right,
Are we discussing? Okay. I wanted to, when I wrote that RFP, I appreciate the positive comments. It was based on the fact that we said the purpose of this project was to dispose of Ashland waste, use Ashland waste only, to get rid of the costs associated with hauling it. That's where this started from. That
And
was after
dispose it.
one meeting.
Yeah.
And that sounded good because we had $300,000. And so I structured that as a cost versus benefit. That we found out what it cost. And then we saw the savings and then we could approach it that way. What's changed is the no cost. And that came in after I wrote the RFP. Now, since then, we found with the meeting with Craig Moore, that we have about $130,000 or so of cost associated with hauling scrap, but we get offsets from landfill receipts and recycling, which reduces it really to a $50,000 problem. And now if you look
I
at.
think that's a
oh, yeah.
little off
No, it's not.
from what we
It's
talked
not.
about.
Yeah.
$255,000 overall budget.
Right.
I don't have a.
So far, we've spent 80, we've gotten about 86.
$254,000 this year.
budget, total budget for the transfer station.
Okay,
And,
Now,
and those are round numbers.
80,000 offset.
So far this year.
Okay, that makes the cost of the transfer station 170,000. Now you say minimum cost. What is that? That is not a tremendous cost. Now, I think you'll find that there's no cost, it's not gonna work. Why is that? This cost of this facility is probably gonna be in the range of 1.25 to $2.5 million for this thing, depending on what comes back, okay? Now, if you look at that as a savings, there's not much there. Now, if you look at that as electric generation, you won't even get enough out of the Dynamis unit to pay for the cost of running that transfer station. That's what you're gonna find now. I've done my homework on this. I'm gonna tell you.
Excuse me, at this point, this is what we're doing.
I know,
and
I
that-
know what I'm trying to
That's a
tell
whole
you
nother
is
thing
you're
we'll have to
passing
work on.
Something to the BOS that won't work. It won't work. And I think you're
Well,
gonna find that.
if we
You're gonna
find that out,
The way it works, let me just finish, please. That it goes into a large scale one unit that you looked at. That now we'll have to buy power. Even with the small scale unit, if you sell power back, you're probably gonna.
Frank, excuse me, but this is all speculation. We're gonna move on now.
Well,
We're
this is
go-
due diligence. This is due
Okay.
diligence.
I'm the chairman here. We're going to move on to our next because we don't need to be here till I'm missing dinner totally.
I'm thinking about this from Ashland's standpoint.
We are too.
If
So
you-
thank you,
if you
Frank.
were-
We're going to
you
be
would go
moving,
back.
we're going to move on at this point. Thank you. So the next thing
Yeah,
on
we'll
our
continue.
agenda,
Roll call vote
on the,
on whether we're forwarding this.
do I have a motion? No. we're
Yes,
just-
you have a motion and a second already.
So
Just need
we
to
have
vote.
a roll call vote on moving this to the Board of Selectmen. Charlie,
Yes.
Bonnie,
Yes.
Jenny,
Yes.
John,
Yes.
Jana, yes.
Okay, motion passes, goes to the select board.
Motion passes, goes to the Select Board.
Are you gonna want that as an agenda item for the next
Yes.
last meeting?
Absolutely. Thank you.
Which
And Frank, your comments are well placed. It's just that we're gonna get to that discussion. This wasn't the moment. You know, it should be exciting at the select board and beyond. Okay, so I don't, I don't wanna turn that off, but this committee needed to do its part, and I think we put a lot of effort in. This committee did a nice job getting something to the select board so that we can continue to review it.
And of course, this is, when it reaches them, it's still a draft. They can change it as
Absolutely.
they want to.
Absolutely. This can be completely reviewed and redone and whatever the select board decides.
Do we need to recommend to the board where this will be advertised or,
If you have suggestions, well,
I think we mentioned the New Hampshire Municipal Association.
yeah, we can advertise. for
Yeah, I think that, we'll coordinate that here, the select board with the town manager, because I think the town manager is gonna be the one that actually does the posting
Yeah,
and whatnot.
Are there national waste organizations that you're aware of that
There's
have
magazines
newsletters?
that
that
still
have-
have magazines.
That have newsletters?
Waste Advantage magazine, but that was the only one that I could think of.
They're not online things, because that becomes a timely thing by the time they get published.
Yeah, true. That would.
And I
be a
can talk with
question.
our new engineer that we're using for another project.
See if they have.
He's done a lot of these RFPs for all kinds
Mm.
of different things. He might have some suggestions also.
And the town of Tamworth just did a building for their transfer station. It was in the Laconia Daily Sun.
Mhm.
So
There you go.
there's your local source.
Yeah.
Okay.
Frank,
I think I told Rod I have,
You have a list.
If I have some vendors.
Yeah.
I'll look, I mean,
Thank you. The more it's out there, obviously, the more it's gonna.
So the next thing on the agenda is the Freudenberg, and Bino was gonna talk to that, but Bino's
Oh,
not here,
So we'll
so.
put
we'll
that up to
put
the
that-
next one meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, Mill Pond project updates,
There hasn't been any tours yet.
really?
Well, we've been busy with a lot of other things too, so.
Okay.
So that's still in the works.
Yeah.
What is the current
Followed
condition
by-
of the
It's
building?
secured.
It's secured now?
Yeah.
Is it
With-
really?
Including windows? I mean,
Well, yeah. So the only way they could fit through was to, that center section, they would open that up. That's been screwed shut and everything, so they have tried beating in the metal frame, but they weren't able to get in, so.
You have cameras on it too, right?
Yeah, there's cameras set up inside and I believe some on the perimeter, so.
Monitored by.
Who's trying to get in there?
Your
Why?
people live there,
Local
especially in the
homeland.
winter.
Well, that's why we have it secured, and they actually tore a section of wall down to get in. And Craig had to rebuild that and make that secure again, so.
Yeah, they're very.
And the PD is doing, regular tours through. There won't be any more campfires in the old mill building, so.
Any other business?
Nobody else does. I have one. This is kind of related to something we did in the past that came about through the budget review at the select board meeting. And Ron, I'm doing this really kind of mostly for your benefit to hear this. Has to do with the Warren article that set up a Parks and Rec fund specifically for the operation of the Parks and Department. And I thought we'd put this to bed, but seemed somehow it escaped. I was told, and I'm gonna ask the rest of the committee here, that somewhere along the line, a representation was made, a recommendation by this committee that they should take 12% of their revenue and put it in that fund. And that's how that fund would operate, and then that fund could be used by the Parks and Recreation Department to make any adjustments, fixes.
Improvements or whatever.
improvements, et cetera.
Was that part of a Warren article?
With the warrant article simply established the fund.
Fund, okay,
But
it
it
didn't
did.
say how much.
Right, now, and you guys tell me if I'm wrong, but what I remember of our recommendation is that our concern at the time was that we wanted the Parks and Rec to operate so that's a quasi enterprise. We wanted it to have revenue and cost, and the goal was that the residents, the taxpayers, are not burdened by the activities of the Parks and Rec Department, that it would be self-sustaining. So that the idea was that, and specifically the way we recommended is that revenue generated by the Parks and Rec Department would go into this fund. And that's the fund that would be available to run the Parks and Recs Department. If there was, anything that caused an overspending, then, well, they would have to go and ask for funds from the general fund. And if there was money left over, which the idea, what we recommended in terms of pricing and the way the campground could work, should have generated extra.
The non-lapsing, right?
Yeah.
The non-lapsing.
Right.
fund, I think.
I think they set up an enterprise fund. for
Right,
that.
yeah.
Yeah,
something,
so this way it would be transparent how that fund operated, and the residents could always be assured that if there was money in the fund, Parks and Rec was not burdening the taxpayer, and that it was in fact being self-sustaining, which is the goal we wanted. Okay, now somehow that got lost in the translation, because what has occurred now is revenue is going into the general fund. They're counting the revenue and taking 12% of that, whether it's available or not, and putting it into this special Parks and Rec fund for the purpose of maintenance. But it's whether it's available or not out of the general fund is where I'm taking exception to this, because I don't think that's what the committee had in mind.
I wasn't here for all that, so.
Right.
I have to go back and read the warrant article, because I remember where there was discussion that because we pulled so much money out of the campground and they weren't maintaining the maintain the campground, and there's money to maintain the campground, and there was
Because of the
expectation they could
extra
do both.
charges.
And
Do
we,
both the
we,
parks programs and maintain the campground.
we raised the pricing of the
Considerably.
campsite,
Considerably.
okay? Because we did that study and,
Right.
and of course, Peter's not here, who was a big part of that, who said that, you know, this is the pricing we need
Right,
in order to cover cost and also to capitalize that, fund so that improvements in the future could be
maintain,
made,
right, yes.
you know, without having to come out of the general fund. Okay, that's the recommendation that came from this board, that's the scope of it, and that's what the intent was. And that hasn't happened, and I guess that's what I realized that at the select meeting, when we were going over the budgeting,
Yeah.
that in fact hadn't been.
Let me go, I'll go back and look and see what we had, yeah,
Yeah, and this is just informational.
yeah, we can go back
Um,
and, okay.
And so hopefully that, going forward, we can make an adjustment and correct it to bring it in line. And of course, it'll take the select board
Right.
to work with us on that, but, you know, that really was the intent, and that, I think it'd be worthwhile to achieve that.
Yeah, well, Marissa had said to me it was all part of that study that the Economic Development Committee did in recommending price increase, and then 12% of the rental fees would go into that fund.
That's the
That's
part.
what I was told.
Yeah,
See, when I heard that,
don't know where that came.
when I heard that 12%,
Yeah.
I was like,
For the 12%.
I don't remember,
Yeah.
you know, but then I don't remember a lot of things, so I'm thinking, it's me.
But it should be all documented,
Yeah,
so,
so
Yeah.
we just gotta pull the documents.
we'll go find it,
All
yeah.
right, so again, for your information, that,
Yep.
you know, and we'll take that up at the select board also, so we can see
Yeah.
if we can adjust that.
Maybe an agenda item for the next one.
Okay?
Any other
Thank you.
discussion? A motion to adjourn.
You don't need a motion, you can just tell us go home.
Okay, go home.
At 6:52.
Stuck.
So when will the next,
Oh, you
selectmen's
didn't-
meeting be?
Oh,